Welcome tonight to INNIE, OUTIE, creating a particular kind of experience. Poetry Sydney is celebrating the LGBTQIA community with Pride Amplified as part of Sydney WorldPride 2023. And you tonight, whether you're audience or performer, are all part of this event. Aren't you lucky? I'm your MC, Lou Steer, for the evening. I would like to acknowledge the Gadigal and Wandjil people of the Eora Nation, who were the first people to live on this land and never ceded sovereignty, and to acknowledge their leaders, past, present, emerging, always was, always will be, and vote yes to the Voice for Parliament. Now, that's over for the politics for the moment. There might be a little bit more creeping in at some point. Now we have two sets of wonderful poets for you tonight. And our very first poet is my good friend, Trisha Dearborn. Now, the last time I saw Trisha, I had the great pleasure of listening to Trisha's words from her book, Autobiochemistry, set to music and sung as an opera in the beautiful Summerhill Church. It was an experience that is like a poet's wet dream. It was so full of art and love and beauty and all of those things. Trisha is, of course, exceptionally an achiever. She's got her two books of poetry, Autobiochemistry, and she reconsiders life on the run. She's been widely represented in literary journals and in anthologies, too numerous to mention. She's been a guest poetry editor for literary journals as well, including Rabbit 31, and a judge for the University of Canberra Vice-Chancellor's International Poetry Prize. She was the winner of the 2021 Neilma Sydney Short Story Prize as well, prose as well as poetry. Double threat. So, without any further ado, please make Trisha very, very welcome.
Hello, it's fabulous to be here. Wonderful to be here for Pride Amplified, part of Sydney WorldPride. And I'd just like to say thanks to Ange and Poetry Sydney and Pride Amplified for inviting me here. Okay, so I feel like if you're queer, part of that for many people is a kind of rebellion. You're going to be who you are, you're not going to be what certain other people might prefer you were. Or maybe that's just my experience. So this first poem is about a small, young rebellion. It's called The White Dress. I knelt with your sewing scissors beside the towering wardrobe. Carefully I snipped holes in your authority. I would see my life through those holes. Creating them, I rained to the red rug triangles of fine white corduroy. I would not wear that dress. So, skipping a few years ahead now, and this next poem is about, I guess, a turning point in my life, really. It's called The Changes. Kissing Louise was a bell. And like the chimes of the genteel drawing room clock, it gave no warning before it struck. It was more like the shock of the extra early morning alarm on the day of the journey, or the sudden shrilling of a schoolroom bell, calling me in to a strange new lesson. It rang sweet as a tardy dinner gong, summoning me to a meal of scent and heat. Resonated like a great church bell, calling the villagers over fields to christenings, to benedictions. My throat sang, my body swung, my skin shone. and my old life shivered and fell from me and lay like the sweat of the ringers in the tower. Thank you. I was just reminded that my wife Cynthia is watching via live stream, and I just remember while I was reading that when we first got together, that was the first poem I finished, and I was like, oh my God, I just finished a poem. And I gave her to her, and she was like, she's giving me a poem about kissing another woman. Anyway. Closer? Is that better? Okay. Actually, while I'm having, could someone pass me that scarf? I am freezing my ass off. Oh, freezing up here. Thanks, Ange. Better. Okay, so in this book, Autobiochemistry, takes its title from a long poem sequence which is mainly autobiographical, but each poem also links to an element of the periodic table. I have a chemistry degree. I love chemistry. I love the elements. So I'm going to read you one of those poems. It's called Sodium. It's actually about human connection, but you're also going to learn a little bit about sodium. Sodium. A metal so light it floats. A metal you can cut with a knife. A metal never found free in nature. When a shaving is pared away, sodium's cut surface shines glorious silver, but tarnishes in seconds, that incredible lustre transformed to the dull grey of sodium oxides. Heated in air, sodium burns with a brilliant golden yellow flame. Tossed into water, it explodes. Neat sodium must be swaddled in a non-reactive substance, stored under kerosene, under oil. I wanted to be the pure metal, solely myself, self-sufficient, swaddled in the safety of needing no one. Now I know we're never pure, beginning as we do as admixture, a dollop of the genetically new, from the outset chemically intermingled. Then we separate, but never completely. Even when we feel entirely alone, our mirror neurons prove us liars, firing when we see the other damaged or delighted, as if it were our hand, poked with a blunt needle or stroked by another's hand. I grew up in a house of liars, a house full of people pretending to be separate. But humans are never found free in nature. It's how we're designed. Connection as vital as oxygen. Intermingled, impure, we shine. I thought we should have some historical queer material tonight. So if you know anything about Virginia Woolf, the famous writer, you probably know that she had an affair with Vita Sackville-West. Vita was married to Harold Nicholson, but they were in a kind of open marriage, and she kind of tended to go off with women and he tended to go off with men. Anyway, so this poem is called Vita. It begins with an excerpt from Virginia's diary from the 21st of December, 1925. She shines in the grocer's shop in Sevenoaks with a candle-lit radiance, stalking on legs like beech trees, pink glowing, grape-clustered, pearl-hung. Vita roused in you what Leonard did not. Thrillingly aristocratic, a ship in full sail, sitting on your floor in her velvet jacket as you knotted her pearls. When she threatened to drive to Monk's house late, throw gravel at your window and spend the night, you telegraphed, "Come then." She was what you had never been, a real woman, controlling silver, servants, chow dogs. But you saw what was missing, that thing that didn't vibrate at the call. The ardour you could not supply, she swiftly sought in other lovers. The legacy of your affair, enduring friendship, memories of those nights you did not write about. And this is the last poem I'm going to read. I think I thought of this one because it's about, just in terms of Sydney WorldPride, it's about knowing what you want and knowing who you are, even though it's not about sexuality in particular. And anyone who is or has ever been Catholic will recognise some things in here. It's called A Chalk Outline of the Soul. Sister Pascal sketched on the blackboard a human soul. Her impromptu rendition, which I believed anatomically exact, shaped like a vertical dog's bone, but wider at the bottom and more angular. She dotted it with chalk, which was original sin, then removed each smutch with the duster, which was God's grace, as manifested in baptism, marriage, in all the 7 sacraments. That was the year I learnt how you made words with letters, imbibed the way their patterns created sound and meaning, divined that in spite of this, some words conform to no rule but their own. While Sister Pascal taught God's grace, the one route to redemption, as chrism, wedding band, Eucharist, a small white moon on a silver salver, quietly I married the Word. Thank you.
Thank you, Tricia. That was a great way to start, and I really hope that musical piece with your words from Autobiochemistry is turned into a CD at some point so that we can all enjoy it. Now, our next poet is someone I've only just met tonight, but already we're great friends. Aren't we, Melody Grafton? Melody has, in a very short space of time, she made me feel very old a bit earlier, but I won't tell you why, has packed a lot of into a short space of time. What will she do in the future? I can't wait to find out. She's a mental health care worker, political scientist, and poet. What a combination. And a feeler of big feelings. That goes with the poetry territory, goes without saying. Proudly from Western Sydney, she is the 2020 winner of the Mount Druitt Heat of the Australian Poetry Slam. And she represented Mount Druitt at the Sydney Finals in that year. She's also performed at the 2020 Mad Pride performance evening, sharing their living experience of mental illness. She formerly was the co-convener of Westside Poetry Slam at Parramatta. Melody's poetry ranges over various themes across her Filipino and queer identities, mental health, love, and loss. Melody, come on up here, and please make her very, very welcome.
I only added political scientist to my bio because I just finished my degree, so I was really excited about it. But I'm not really. But yeah, before I start, I just kind of wanted to give a little disclaimer that my kind of style is more. It's something called slam poetry. So in slam poetry, if you're feeling something, inside within yourself about whatever I'm saying, I like to hear some clicking, and also don't be afraid to, and whatever it is. If you feel that, it's alright if you don't. But yeah, no, just gonna, yeah, is that alright? Just find it. Yeah. All right. I'm sitting in this chair, this white cheap plastic chair in this bland cheap plastic airport, looking at this couple reunited. She's got pale skin and curly blonde hair under a green safari hat, looking up at her lover in between the hugs and the kisses, heavy backpack on his light shoulders. And I am looking. Aged 15 in the Philippines, a home that isn't my own, instead my mother's. Lush volcanic euphoria, a distraction from the open sewers in the streets, from the local dreams of something more, from the children selling fruits for single sheets of school paper. This home isn't my own, but I feel it. I feel the love and lechon, eating rice by the fingers and stopping at every chapel on the highway. I feel my mother's pride in having escaped 20 years ago, now returned as a sponsor at the local school. This home isn't my own, but I feel it. And I know why not. Oops. Me, the pretty white Filipino dream, not quite whole, not quite here nor there, a relic of white Spanish invasion, birthing the onslaught of skin whitening creams and poverty. A relic of something so dangerous, a system of disruption and self-hatred, a relic of something more than just my mom, a series of systemic migration, the rise of the OFW, just as certain as the white man's gaze or typhoon season. The urge to make it out while this couple were in. The dream of something more than poverty versus exotification. This. I'm 15 and I'm sitting in this chair, this white cheap plastic chair in this bland cheap plastic airport, looking at this couple. And I wish that I could tell them that this home is not their own. Thank you. Whew. All right. Yeah. Thanks, guys. This one is a bit more recent, and just a warning, we're going to go into a series of breakup poems. So a lot of them are short, but just a warning. That's the theme we're going with. Northern Beaches Boy. Leathery skinned mom and surf life-saving dad, beach road brother. Gray car and cigarettes in the desk drawer. B-grade Christian school. Turned down, offered a top private school. Begrudgingly sunscreened. Feminist, socialist, working class friend. Perfect skin, comrade to the masses. Black teeth, red wine drunk next to the blue pool of his parents' home. Hyperfixation on politics and pubs, run from the cops, or class consciousness. White button-down collared shirt and black slacks. Rick Owens, Comme des Garçons, Vivienne Westwood collection. Ally to women, unless they're an ex and have agency. Crazy bitch. I love you. No, I don't. I hold your heart in my chest. Keep it until you want it back. Keep it safe for now, or for a while. I'll hold it for however long. I'd do anything for you. You know that. You've known that for a while now. Thanks. All right, let me just... Yeah, okay. Next one. All right. Breakup poem. I said I wouldn't write another breakup poem. And yet here I am, pouring my love from one cup to another, trying to keep up with the way it overflows and spills, my hands gripping in pain and fingers raisoning. Surrounding myself in people that aren't you, in smiles that aren't yours, in kisses that aren't ours together. Mopping up my heart from kitchen countertops, pulling the bits into dustpans. I hope this can be clean for you. Hand sanitize leftover specks of your touch so as not to contaminate my eyes, lips, skin. Scrubbing your life from mine. I said I wouldn't write you another breakup poem, and I meant it. Until I couldn't fit you in my hand anymore. Okay. Yeah. I miss you so much. The pain in my chest is unbearable. I miss going to the beach with you, dusting off yellow sand, rinsing off in the shower, naked together, cozying into your linen sheets, ordering takeout and watching a movie. Sex and cuddles before twilight goodnights. Summer is the season I'm most reminded of you. Something about the freedom of life and the ocean breeze, holding your sunscreened oily hand, listening to music in the car with the windows down. I miss you on New Year's Day. I miss you on Boxing Day. I miss you in sea salt and in the air. I miss you in linen sheets. I miss you in every day I'm out distracted. All right, keep going. The breakup stuff. Yeah. You didn't know it, but I used to write you poetry. It's funny, the hypocrisy, to say I prefer saying words that evaporate and fall in terms of the secret love notes I never told you. If you had known, would you have loved me more? I'll dance with friends and friends and friends, and your friend that I'll end up kissing. I'll cry and wheeze and vomit up love and tears, come back to bed and sob myself to sleep. You plague my thoughts, and I hate you for it. I hate you for loving me and for stopping when you did. Thanks. Sorry, I got a couple more. Sorry, they're very short. Great. Swapping books. All right, these are less breakup themed. So, I want to meet your cat. I want to meet your mom. I want to lay in your bed and listen to the Strokes. I want to be your girl. I want to be your muse. Woman to write songs about, acid trip texter, workday boredom breaker. CD, record shopper, big back alley vapor. I barely know you. I've seen you twice. I want you, and I don't even know why. Got a couple more. I think I've only got 10 minutes maximum, so I'm just trying to really go through it. I don't have any sense of time. So, yeah. Sorry. Alrighty. This is pretty relatable because we've got these state elections, right? It's rough. But this was written about the federal elections. I campaigned for labor for you. Not quite alive, but I told my psych that it was a feminist thing to do. Marginal seat trade votes for the chance to meet you on the weekend or any time ever. Pour all of my love into 6 a.m. wake-ups and a handout saying good morning. Spill onto letterbox drops in the darkest of autumn, not knowing if it's all worth it. For a heart react and a good job, babe. I campaigned for labor for you, even if I didn't have to, and just wish that it meant something to you. Because now I sit at the end, depressed in my bed, and hope for what could have been. Thanks. This is the last one. I'll be your Soviet girl. Wear my Ushanka with nothing else on. Pose in bed, come in for a kiss. Lay on my side in the shadow of a pre-Gorbachev monument. Talk commie politics, come in for a kiss. I'll be your Soviet girl. Not exactly real, just who you want me to be. Read the Marx Manifesto to get your attention. Listen to Solidarity Forever until you notice me. I'll be your Soviet girl. Your fantasy girl. Woman with a cigarette, blow smoke in your face, haze over your eyes, a blind eye to the things you don't like about me. I still see your face sometimes, in the reflection of train station escalators, remembering what I embroidered you last Christmas. Love is revolution, power to the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Melody Grafton. So fit you can get on and off the front of the stage, unlike some of us, with a worn-out knee and a compression bandage on their leg. But that's enough about me. Our next poet redefines overachievement. I first met Paris Rosemont only in May last year when she made her debut at an event that I was supposedly emceeing at Chowchak Wing Museum for Poetica. Since then, she has been published in a number of journals. She was longlisted for the Joyce Parks Prize 2022. She won the Poetry Prize for the New England Thunderbolt Prize for Crime Writing 2022, and I'm still dying to see that poem. She's been a feature poet at Rhapsody Review and Queer Literary Festival 2022. She's performed at the Australian Poetry Slam Sydney Finals and in Mad Bitches in Sydney Fringe Festival 2022 and also in Chatterbox. She is a bit of a mad bitch, but aren't we all? Even the men here tonight. All of us. Mad bitches. But she's also been a Living Stories competition judge, Westward's academician, writer in residence, Frontier Poetry Scholarship recipient, Arts Australia membership, Westward's Varuna Emerging Writers Residency, and was named runner-up for the Writing New South Wales Varuna Fellowship in 2022. All that makes her sound incredibly high-minded, academic, serious poet with a capital P. But she's actually got a really wicked sense of humour and a raunchy way about her, as you will see very shortly. Please make her very welcome.
This is not a love poem because, 1, I simply like you more than a little. 2, I am not capable of love, according to my ex. 3, there are 2.12 billion single people in this world. You are not one of them. 4, this is actually a heartbreak poem. 5, I was not supposed to fall in love with you. 6, this is a fucked up poem, so let's just get on with it. The art of fucking. We fuck to a smooth soundtrack of Motown and jazz, rhythm unfurling like a line of psychedelic improv, sniffed off my crescent melon wedged, crafted like a Botticelli painting, all peaches and pears ripe for the plucking. And you, Michelangelo masterpiece, sculpted like Adonis. I brush my lips against marble smooth body, cool and hard under my touch. Nectar dribbles down naked gutters of lustful lips. You lick away my pain till I am restored again in soulful hues of rhythm and blues, unspooling, unspooling, until tightly wound king bursts free in crescendo of ecstatic overdriven harmonies, beats, shoots, leaves. Lolita maimed a little man. I am more than just sweet, not just a Candy Crush sugar rush treat. I guzzle champagne through thirsty French kisses, Marie Antoinette clad in shiny black leather. Let them eat me. How do you see me, monsieur? Am I a Black Forest gâteau or a sticky date pudding, triple cream camembert or black peppercorn foie gras, golden geisha green tea or a double ristretto? Mange-moi. Parlez plus fort. What is it you infer, monsieur? Que je suis Venus à la fleur? That I frighten you by draping the trophy skins of my lovers so casually around my naked shoulders? More than just sweet, I want you to lick the salt off my caramel skin, drink in my sin, swallow my caviar pearls. I am more than just sweet. Come, taste me. These are not my knickers. I don't want to know what you'll be doing tonight. I wish I hadn't seen your Insta pic. Pretty paddle taking pride of place in your trusty toolkit. Balsa wood slapper emblazoned with a burnt heart and the words, good girl, to soften the sting. It sits alongside your picky paddle and your big daddy spanker, flanked by that crop you bought for $9.99 from the equestrian section of that sports superstore, where your happiness is guaranteed. I guess it's the kind of slogan that covers impact sports and happy endings of all persuasions. Bargain bin happiness. I don't want to know how much you're looking forward to testing out your new toy tonight, because I'll be at home, probably elbow deep in dirty dishwater, whilst you'll be at yours, probably wrist deep in your Girl Friday. I don't want to know who owns these lacy black knickers that muddled their way into my belongings. I already know she's a size smaller than me, bitch. She has long blonde hair. Random strands cling to my clothes like clues in a mystery I didn't seek to unravel. I wonder whether she's prettier than me too. I dare not ask. Most people don't like Mondays, but I do. On Mondays, I'm yours. I go off to class like a good little girl, before going off in the bedroom like a bad, bad girl. You call me your good girl anyway. As you yank my hair and trail hot whispers down my neck, leaving cross-hatched welts on my tenderized flesh. I don't want to know how this will all end. All I know is that you quell the chaos, substituting my churning with rising scars I can actually finger. I press my thumb into the pulse of my damage, blooming like a sleeve of tattoo tapestry etched in blood and ink on my virgin skin. This next piece is The Hum of Escape, and you can see that visually represented on the wall there. And just excuse me while I get my soundtrack ready. Pulsing buzz of my private indiscretion takes the edge off another frazzled day. Mindless pleasure invokes temporary amnesia, anesthetic as my body takes the reins on primal autopilot. Oh. Ah. Oh. Her versus him, a true tale. And I've just forgotten the opening. Let me try that again. Her versus him, a true tale. I have been told that I need to develop thicker skin, Teflon skin, so the shit hurled at me won't stick. I have been told that the scarlet red lipstick I wear is more a shade of hot pink hussy. I have been told that if I ever landed in any real hot water, well, can a carnivore ever really be blamed for sinking his teeth into my fresh meat because I failed to conceal myself inside a potato sack? I have been told I should not write intimacies, that it will attract filthy dogs humping at my legs, frothing to bring my fantasies to life, whether I really want them to or not. My cries sound feeble. I protest, choke on a stranglehold that was not part of my bondage fantasy. Let the jury note, she claims her fantasies were fiction, or at least fictionalized, works of fantastical fiction. Fictionalized fantasy, fiction lies. She lies on her back, lies through her teeth, lies through her pain, lies through her grief. Good grief, she's a vixen, all fantasy fiction. Or is that non-fiction? True tales, fairy tales, grim tales, crying wolf, true lies, fake blood, fairy tales falsified, faking it, full of lies, where her fantasies lie, real life fantasies, scream queen, fantasy scene, kinky obscene fantasy fetish, role play, knife play, screenplay, consensual non-consent, implied consent. She consents, does she consent? No, no consent. She dissents, she objects, objectification, subjugation, intoxication, domination. She wanted it. Objection, Your Honour. All stand. This court will temporarily adjourn. I have been told the verdict. Not guilty. Wait, what? Pas de deux. Pour toi, the lover's dance. Oh, kiss me, darling, bruise my hungry lips. Crush petaled grapes and drink in little sips. From Aphrodite's cup, my blood, my wine. Eternal pleasure at your fingertips. Oh, slap me, dearest, when we are entwined, and truss me up in your shibari bind. Then fill my blushing cheeks with blooming rose, emerging on my skin in welts divine. Use and abuse, do with me what you will, desire grows. From punishments you seek fit to impose on me, submissive, willing, and restrained. Oh, mistress, how I long to please you so. Dissolve my wretched suffering and shame. Use and abuse, I'm yours and shall remain. With every stroke of your paddle's caress, a phoenix quite transfigured through my pain. This is my final piece. It's a 9 by 9 by 9, being 9 stanzas, each with 9 lines, each line containing 9 syllables. It's called The Little Black Book of Lady Curiosa. 1. Lady Curiosa. Once upon a time, there was a girl. Let's call her Lady Curiosa. A peculiar girl she was, with her little idiosyncrasies, her penchants and peccadilloes. She was an enigma. 'Twas impossible to pin her down, unless, of course, she wanted it. This is her little black book of those who got under her skin. 2. X. Now here's where I could land in trouble. But I heard it's not defamation if it's true. So, 18 years wasted on a man I never loved. Terrified I'd leave, you smothered me, gaslit me, said I was defective, tried to teach me about this thing called love. Therapy taught me its real name. Let's call it that. Domestic abuse. 3. Scarlet. Not your real name. You entered the scene at the 7-year itch and took me quite by surprise. You lit up my stage. I couldn't decide whether I yearned to be you, befriend you, or bed you. Yes, to all 3. You also had a hot husband I fancied sleeping with. I once asked you about a threesome. Sometimes they're best kept as fantasies. 4. Tachyon. I gave up on the notion of love. You restored parts of me I thought were rusted beyond hope of salvaging. I blossomed like a desert rose, so thirsty for the slightest fall of rain. You let me feel what it means to be completely adored. In no time I was besotted. But they never leave their wives. My first love and first heartbreak. 5. Dom. Wanted. Someone to spank. No strings, just some kinky, uncomplicated fun. Long-term play partner preferred over casual. No dramas. So we met. You delivered on all the above and undid my marital damage. Unlocked worlds of hedonistic bliss. Pleasure through pain. My most functional relationship. On Mondays, I'm yours. 6. Seraph. You were too late. By the time we met, I already had a lover. Friends, we decided. But you intrigued me, so I tried to set you up with Scarlet. When it didn't work, I was relieved. By then, we were fooling around in the back seat of my car. I bought a whip. You call me maîtresse, domina. 7. Coda. Charming bel canto, how you enchant me with your poet's heart, the beatbox rhythm of your art, fast-paced acid lace dripping from your wicked tongue. You play with words, my hungry mouth seeks yours, unraveling a tumble of ciphers from the tip of your honeyed tongue. You startle and delight, Daddy. The world dissolves until all I taste is you. 8. Casper. I've always had a thing for Scots. You charmed me with your lilting brogue. I could have drowned in your lips forever. But you ghosted me. That stung. Turns out you'd been hospitalized. I guess I could forgive you. But then you went and ghosted me again. I wrote a poem about you, performed it to hundreds. Now everyone knows you're a douchebag. 9. Robin. And finally, there's you. I seem to find myself thinking about you far too often, turning your words over in my mind. They seduce me without meaning to. Or do they? Do you? Do you think about me too? I know I'm not the type of girl that people often desire, but I'm a carnal forest, vibrant, alive, uncharted, and wild.
Of course I was right. I'm always right. Please give another round of applause for our poets of this round. Trisha Dearborn, Melody Grafton, Paris Rosemont, and we're now going to have a 10-minute interval in which time I will be slipping into something less comfortable but more spectacular, because why the hell not? And we will have 3 more poets coming up. Willow Drummond, Charles Freiberg and Kari McKern, not necessarily in that order. And so it's worth your while to wait around. Meanwhile, have a drink and enjoy. Hello. Was it worth the wait? All of these are just normal everyday clothes I have in my wardrobe. They all come from a brand called TS14. I don't owe any shares in it. In fact, I spend all my money there. So, you too can be this fabulous. Now we have 3 more fabulous poets, and after that, another little break, and then the open mic. So hang around, because I'm going in that. Yeah. Plus, I gather 1 or 2 other people are too. Anyone for the open mic? Hands up. Yes. Okay, good. Now I know who you are. Oh, there's somebody who may or may not be in it. The shy one. There's always a shy one. Well, the next poet we have is not one of the shy ones, I don't think. She may feel differently. This is Willow Drummond, who poetry can be found in Cordite Poetry Review, Australian Poetry Journal, the Canberra Times, numerous anthologies and elsewhere. Willow has been the recipient of a career development grant from the Australia Council for the Arts, 2022, runner-up in the Tom Collins Poetry Prize, 2021, and shortlisted for the Val Vallis Award, 2022. She teaches creative writing at Macquarie University, and her debut collection, Moon Ras, and you will see leaflets on your table about this, Moon Ras. That's her debut collection of poetry being published by Puncher and Watman in March 2023, which is like next week. Yay! So please make Willow really welcome. You can do better than that. Yay! Yay! Make some noise. Well done.
Hello, hello. Let me just get slightly adjusted here. We've been instructed that we need to speak very close to the mic. So, hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here tonight for this beautiful evening, and happy World Pride. Woo! So, as Lou said, I'm Willow Drummond, and I'm going to be reading tonight from my debut collection. Lou said half of my introduction here already, so she's such a pro. So I'll cut to the chase. Moonras weaves through several threads around aspects of identity, becoming, intersubjectivity, and questions of transformation, including gender transformation. And I'll talk a bit more about that later in the set. I'm going to start tonight with a poem that's partly about climate, but also about growing up queer, creative, sensitive, all the things in the suburbs and all that that entails. I was doing a lot of research about mangroves several years ago, and I came across this fact that mangroves actually behave a little bit differently to other plants as they grow, in that rather than growing out from the mainland or the shore, they actually gather flotsam and jetsam, silt and seeds to themselves, to create their own island or community. So I thought this poem might be fitting to read tonight amongst this wonderful community. This is called Propagules for Drift and Dispersal. Avicennia marina has a viviparous seeding habit. It keeps its babies close. Many mangrove children, from departure from the coop, set sail across the ocean, travel for months at sea. Weaker Avicennia, though, doesn't stray very far. Seeds often become stranded, establishing close to their parents. When I was one such kid, I couldn't wait to flee this drowned river valley. The scent of mud in my pores, the cloying air, the constant presence of swamp dwellers' stares. This wasn't the stand for me. I wanted to be my own island, to gather my people close, at least to say, triumphant, Mother, I've left your long body. Through sheer force of willpower, I'd build my own terra firma, show life was more than a sentence-based rehearsal. But today, I read in the paper, the mangrove is probably the most remarkable community of unrelated families in the world. So much for distant mangrove shores. Trying not to let life ruffle my feathers, I consider what time and tide has told me. Slowly, the lines are silting over. One grabs a whiff of a future, though, if you massage the meaning of mangrove. Even on an island, change is the surest constant. There's always mud around the edges and memories that slip through our fingers. We're all sucking down carbon and small shards of cells keep protruding for a micro breath, glimpse across the salt pan as the tide edges in. You'll see you can sail as far as you like, but you'll never leave this station. So much is pneumatophoric metaphor and urban, suburban, sub-suburban transpiration. Thank you so much. So one of the primary threads that Moonras explores is the intersubjective experience of being one half of a partnership in which someone is undergoing a gender transition. What does that mean for your own identity, for your relationship? How will things look on the other side of all that liminality in the very early days of transition? A time when the very axis of the world seems to tilt and shift. The next two poems I'm going to read are part of a slightly longer sequence written during my own and my partner's time of that kind of wobbly unknowing. The sequence is called Axis of a Shifting World. Two. Lean into me. Let me stand where you can no longer. Solitude surrounds us, of course, even 2 by 2 as we are in the ache of it. From this vantage, we glimpse a kite. Let it drag us away, kick off the dust, lean into me. Around us is sky and the remnants of ritual, and you, and now you. The axis is shifting. Although it is possible I had you in mind all along, you are rewriting me. My maps are recharting. Will you know me when you become, and I am rewritten? Three. I need to be in the world, to feel air, breath of lives, various faces, not only on subways, more than petals, wings, material, immaterial, the movement of limbs, mine, theirs, the flicker of life on brows, various, bustling women with prams, old couples touching in their concern still. From there, of course, I think of you. I think about our intertwining, our changing, so much that is strange and new, various and particular. Now, a plate of food, yellow eggs, green kale, your favourite, the anticipation of bitter coffee and times, various, with you. Thank you so much. This next poem is about an encounter that I had with two Londoners in a place called Wanstead Park in East London, really early on during the process of transition for my partner. The area was a significant childhood place to the poet Denise Levertov, and so the poem contains some lines from a poem of hers about that place. It also contains a line from Sikh scripture, as the two Londoners that I happened to bump into happened to be Sikh. Now, this was neither the first nor the last of such encounters I would have, which continue to this day, with people from all walks of life. But as an Australian visitor to East London, one can't help but be hyper-aware that one is visiting the land of a coloniser, and of the multitude of erasures signified by such a place. So this poem is about a range of ways we carry the past with us. It's about change, climate, migration, but most importantly, it's about the significance of pronouns. This is called "The One Light is the Light in All Bodies." On a branch of downy birch, flecked with river light, two crows cool their tongues one unseasonable London summer. I walk along the heronry pond toward the wild centre, to a tremolo of futures enforced by Brisbane blue. This is Wanstead, that drew us over and over into its basic poetry. In its serpentine lake, we envisioned early music among golden dead leaves. The past snakes across parch beds today, captured plastic chairs and bottles, the ruined boathouse still ghosted through trees. I water in the shade with two welcoming Sikhs who speak of a runaway trans boy lost somewhere by the River Roding, the self-same tributary of this place that held our heads above water when we thought we might drown. By his auburn hair, you'd know him, they say, without using those pronouns. They feed a solitary duck in the uncomfortable heat. In the silence, this inscribes the emergent space between. I am untongued by erasures of you and so me. Each baroque note of a viol lowing as soft strings of new boy hair held by water crowfoot. Eka jo to high sarira. One light, all bodies, gold as changing leaves. Thank you so much. This wind machine is giving me quite a dry throat, although I really like the effect. So this will be my second last poem for this evening. This is actually the title poem of my collection. It's called Moonras. And for those who don't know, a moonras is a species of fish that undergoes a female to male gender transition in midlife. Oh, but anyway, it'll be better for the throat. Thank you. So this is Moonras. Here you are, my blue moon, Ras, newborn, barely imagined being. I see you with a new lucency, clear as the blue of your new man's suit, sweet as the sky, true as day. Back and forth, you carve this place of ours, continuing a persistent insistence on incessant activity. You always loved to dance. Some things change, some stay the same. Here you are, forming, transforming, twinkling your webbed toes, shaking your tail crescent. Lyras, we cycle through the dappled light of the casuarina, holding hands like younger lovers. In a film, in a dream. All is calm and comfort here, moving in our translucent cocoon, self-made and safe as houses or as a fresh-made pair of parrotfish pajamas. Thank you so much for listening. This is going to be my final poem for the evening. I've worn my feather bolero tonight in honour of this final poem. You'll understand why in a minute. I included this tonight because this is a poem for anyone who has perhaps recently come into knowledge about their identity, but who is perhaps yet to cross the threshold into living in the fullness of their true self. This is called Some Words for Migratory Birds. Remember last year on the flyway, just before the 4th stopover, you taught me to read star maps under blush of sea-sprayed moonlight. Direction was magnetic then. I, you, she, he, we moved shore to shore without the burden of knowing. Flying in tight formation, hearts driven with intention. Now we witness the birth of a white-bellied sea eagle on a 2-inch screen. My hand, my limb, reaches for the familiar feel of your wingtip while you, preoccupied, testing the waters of transformation, almost miss the cue. Thing is, the slightest shift in alkalinity sets the whole thing in motion. We must conserve our energy, for there's just so far to go. Here, listen to my voice. The world is waiting for you and your flight notes. What will you make of them? Turn, face northward, embark. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
I'm sure you'll agree with me that that was incredible, beautiful, sensual, and important poetry from Willow Drummond. Now, our next poet is Kari McKern, who has given me a very dull bio, so I'm going to make one up for you, Kari. I've known Kari for over 10 years, so I can get away with this. Kari is a retired scientist who recently bought a Tesla and tells me it is fantastic. Julie? Oh, Julie bought it. Oh, Julie bought it. Julie is Kari's partner and she, correction, bought the Tesla. But Kari put the ding in it. Kari, Kari also writes serious articles about Asia and world affairs and has recently had 4 articles published on johnmenadue.com, which is a big deal if you're interested in politics. But tonight, Kari is going to do her inimitable and unique poetry. And so please make her very welcome.
Hi there, thanks everyone. Well, I'm going to do a short series of poems. I've kind of encapsulated them as the art of transition and transformation, the art of celebration, and the art of destiny or future. That's explanation enough. A few years ago, I met a lovely woman who was quite elderly, and she'd had a transition as a public patient in Melbourne, because she was definitely quite trans. And I'll start off with my poem to her. Marika endured an extravagant father in an austere society, mastering oil pumps, turbines and combustion chambers. An exile, servicing planes of war in faraway places. Who took solace in scholarship and art, mastering theories for love and livelihood, who turned pain to the pedagogy of expression, sowing the sensitive seeds of freedom on many frontiers. Marika, who explored inner spaces with the engine of insight, mapping with a brush, truly, without pastiche or cliche, delivering both beautiful art and a map to herself. Marika, who accepted the challenge of chance and change without letting go of the load, who after honouring form and obligation with grace and equanimity, carefully put down all that which bound her, and duty done became her. That is Marika. To the transformation, which takes many forms. There is space station surgery. This is the station where brave humans depart on missions to dark worlds and the inner and outer spaces, who map those realms and explore gender ontologies, who boldly go where no human beings have gone before. Thank you. The demiurge of dentistry has the hands of Parvati for Saraswati's talents. Daughter of Durga, her dexterity flows like the Ganges. She sculpts her art with stuff indistinguishable from magic. Her dental dharma is virtuous and unstained, like porcelain, but refined like her dark, flawless beauty. Wearing a white sari, using high magnification, she gives mouse moksha and her clients kama. She is not of this world, but sealed away behind full bioprotection. A golden goddess in a gown who uses 4 arms, is kind to Buddhists, resting on a lotus, India incarnate. Thank you. And then the celebration of transition. Terry, dark matter darling, black mob lover, born of that ancient clan, the first Australians, dispossessed and forgotten, but not dead yet. Woolloomooloo war boy, ebony heartthrob, herbal knight. Marvellous Neptune of estuaries and river songlines. Fish whisperer, custodian spirit, bush tucker baby. Protector awakened, ennobled by the rainbow serpent to teach of places, plants, people, and country. Thank you. And now a poem to you and to Pride. The daughters of Aphrodite, our solar system's children, the women of the future, angels of the Anthropocene, planeteers of peat and permafrost, frosty femmes of the great ice stupors, guardians of the last of the cryosphere, bright with civility and civilization, plans and grand ambitions, these are the women of the future. The women of the future are architects of process justice, vertical farms, landscapes, and exoplanetary ecologies. As lovers of science, they welcome us all to the celebration of understanding of truths which cannot be bought or sold, imposed by force, resisted or escaped. The women of the future at climate courts deliver justice with wisdom. The women of the future earn renown as steely dames who unfold from a salute to the sun and come up for fencer as they fly between worlds. The women of the future turn physics to fashion and come in all colours. The women of the future on Sorry Day ceremonially don sackcloth and ashes and keen and cry for what the great mother has lost and then carry on. Thank you. And all these women are she, the goddess of forever. She who earned great renown by blunting mad attacks, who heals the living dead with holy heat, embracer of lovers and of just cause, ferocity knowing her body well, whose story spreads through the cultures of the folk and slips through the tick of time. The keeper of her pearl palace. She who is as was and does as did, fleshy full, scent laden, as was written and shall be rendered always. She who rises whenever we journey to the core the truth and the light. A fullness of the greatest duration is now and ever shall be. Thank you.
You can see why I threw out Kari's bio, can't you? Just didn't do you justice, Kari. Okay, now we're up to our final feature poet of the evening, but just remember there is an open mic section after our next break. So stick around for that because there's always some great surprises, not least of which will be me. Shameless plug there. Now, our next poet is my good friend, Charles Freiberg. I know I've described everyone as my good friend tonight, and they are. Aren't I blessed to know so many talented people? Now, Charles and I performed together as the Fierce Violets spoken word cabaret group. And as such, we won a spoken word award. Oh, we were nominated, for a spoken word award at Sydney Fringe Festival 2022, getting ahead of us there. Charles was also nominated as part of the Museum of Fleas in the genre of musical theatre for the Sydney Fringe in 2019. Charles works with Judith Beveridge in a postgraduate poetry study group. He was originally an actor and director with Club Bent at the Performance Space in the late 90s and a number of plays. He's recently, in fact yesterday, got off a plane to be here because now he's an international poet. I'm not even kidding. He actually got an airfare to go and perform at someone's private party in London. We should all be so fucking lucky. Charles also has 2 books which are available over there. They are The Dining at the Edge and The Crumbling Mansion by Ginninderra Press. And he's also performed a solo show called The Crumbling Mansion in both Sydney and Newcastle. So if that doesn't rev you up, I don't know what will. Please make Charles very welcome. No, come on.
I thought, just wait. I thought I'd bring to you a series of 1980s love poems. Just, they're about me. I was kind of young and gorgeous, but I wasn't nearly as confident as what I am now. I suppose that's the difference and the process one goes through. To Victor. The only copies of your plays are sitting in a folder. I'm frightened to read them. I'm still prickled by the broken shards of your spontaneity, the caress and jab of your irony. Your voice is tangled in mine, enlivening my own work. Sitting on the desk. Years ago, I scattered your ashes, scattered fantasies still whispering in me now. I'm half a coddled schoolboy, my legs now down with hair in a jumper knitted by my mother. It shrouds my body, concealing my sex. I cannot remove it. A blemish on the mirror cuts my body in 2. Above, sunlight on my glasses. The smoke from my lips is dazzling. The stain unravels, deflects, jostling red and blue like makeup smoothing over the pimple scars on my face. My body is luminous, a shadow with a shining corona. I am changed. Until the sun is swallowed by a cloud, a breeze blows in the window. I am a bespectacled boy in a dirty jumper with no trousers, smoking a cigarette, looking for some hidden wonder in my oh-so-familiar face. This is said at the University of Sydney. A cold sweat on the lawn glistens green in flickering shadows. The splinter of a tree trunk pierces the fabric of my shirt, putrid with half-chewed lumps of vomit. The clouds are high, streams of greyness shifting to the pitch above. Is this the emptiness, the nothing inside me? The stars are braided in scorched ribbons. Traffic rumbles like the riff of a bass guitar. My muscles flex as I shift my twisted legs. But the texture of my chest beneath my unbuttoned shirt is sweet. I caress myself. A stammering boy peels off his clothes, the warmth of his body questioning, do I dare to stare into shadowy pockets of darkness to find my completion, my foul, gorgeous toad, my vagabond? I cannot be a fawning copy of the others poised to take over the world. They walk past like shadows snickering, not giving a helping hand. I am here. I am complete. A mist of drizzle falls, mixing with my smoke, the pungency of vomit. I throw up again. Beyond the trees, the fake Gothic towers are pinpricks. Professors sing in a great repeating chorus, ignoring the sarcasm of the sky. I want to share these contradictions with a fellow renegade. Do I see, this time through the distorting prism of you? Now I'm ready to meet you. A dank room expands in purple lamplight. A cat yawns on your lap. She purrs as you stroke her rumpled black fur, shudders into life. I'm a tiny reflection in the brown pool of her eyes and in the cold blue satire of yours. She bares her claws and hisses. She's a stray like me. She hates professors. They want to dissect her. Beethoven's strings slither down to brooding. I say nothing. You touch her matted fur. She rolls as I stroke her soft breathing belly. You are touching her torn ears. She hums with the cellos. She likes you. And at last you smile. You are gentle, and for a moment we merge in the cat's contentment. You to play. Beckett's face is staring from a tattered volume of his games, his mouth a twisted smile like your body lounging on a torn velvet couch swathed in blackness, your slender fingers expressive opening to invite me in, then closing in a fist as the cat sprints in circles and yowls. Portraits of women like me, wild like the cat with faraway eyes, shift in circles of red and blue. Everything is distorted here like a precocious Picasso nightmare, shifting and searching for a shape. The room is a cranium. We train a telescope through the window on the zero and grey outside. We amputate slices. We float down a river jostling with Lambos, ecstatic amoeba feeding on snot and dark blue wine as sirens and traffic, weeping from neighboring rooms, seeps in. Why do you stay with me? Why do you keep me? All the mess in my head, the cacophony of voices tearing me in pieces starts to merge in my gestures. My voice leaps with unlikely laughter. We drain the car's bladder into purple blotched cups. We stroke the cat feeling as scars. We're speaking in a tangled rhythm. Art starts here. Now here's one that I tried to relearn today, but I'm just off the plane. It wouldn't go in. Maze. There are no words. They stop here. In the emptiness beyond them are men and boys circling and searching. Keys jangle on their wrists. A dozen arms reaching from the glow of twisting torsos. Faces with shadows for eyes. What terror. A dull metallic beat, a clammy touch, an electric jolt. I am repelled, I am awakened. No more words, no muddled thoughts. I'm circling and searching. I chase him as he flees into darkness. His caress shakes my guts. My body cries to be touched again, to touch, to kiss. My legs stride through this maze where every shadow promises an end to my aloneness. He closes the door. He knows what to do. Do I? My brain is cut away, floating astonished above me. Breath swells his glistening chest. A delicious, not quite smoothness, the taste of sweetened salt. Red freckles float beneath a down of hair, smeared with sweat flowing from his pores, my body breathing with him. I see my shapeliness as he glances up and down me. I rise as he pushes me down, my needfulness shifting into him. How I want his wanting, the power of all of him. My brain mutters, you should not do this, like someone else, not me. It's me who shouts aloud, more! As he shrieks with laughter, a wave shatters through his body. For a moment, I'm whole. He brushes back my hair, so gentle. He's transparent like me. A pause, then he shifts. We're two awkward bodies again. He blows me a kiss. See you later. The condom stayed on, didn't it? I pick up my sodden towel from the slippery vinyl bench. I'm muddled again. This is about Taylor Square. We're trickster spirits ready to leap with a cat's agility, purring laughter, baring our teeth with a hiss. We sit on a grassy island with a single palm tree, watching. My third eye pierces under skin. The swaggerers dragging their cartload of fear, wild transformation behind gloomy eyes. Grayness falls, shifting, to green, then blue, then sickly green. The shape of things is shifting. A punk boy slithers, sheathed in blackness, etched with tattoos, flashes of metal. He's ready to strike with poison fangs. That drunk's in pieces, face like a broken statue, covered with moss, a duck bill. He crawls on webbed feet. Where does he belong? An angel shakes their stripy tail of pink and orange feathers. Will you wrap me in your wings? Can I climb into your costume? A soprano warbles as a filthy spotted dog howls. He can't strum the guitar with his paws, but coins clink into his bowl. Ducks quack, wobbling away from a herd of bison on a buck's night. Demented, shiny pills speed by, revving on green, screeching on red, fouling the air with their excretions. We sit on the island running a commentary. Will this zoo turn and devour each other? Is it a nature documentary or football? Our voices are suave, very BBC. We're here to bewilder you and ourselves. We're here to jumpstart the heart of this city. Or is this city jumpstarting us? Will we join? Or are we trapped in a box? And lastly, something short, slightly different time and mood. A love poem. Your largeness and laughter at home here, sprawled on the grass. Soon witches awake, clouds blush, smudged with haze, bent in branches. A time for storytelling, lounging in the park. You tell a breakup well, the first encounter blissful, but it quickly descends as your lover stumbles with awfulness. And our laughter joins in hooting harshness. And a silence when I see your sadness and you see mine. Raising an eyebrow, I flick it away and paint you a gorgeous bully I once was besotted with. And as you listen, you sweep back long, disordered hair like Mother Earth chuckling in the grass, hippie boy with gothic shadows under eyes, glinting with waywardness. Your cheekbones glow, no longer jaded. My story finds its zest from you. Ragged with brightness, I see you lip syncing, Kate, in wuthering, blustering moors. Lover man, oh, where can you be? Mouth wide open, astonishing high note. Lyrics patchy, but we capture the feeling. Your head is on my shoulder like there's a sudden downpour you need shelter from.
Charles. Never drop the mic unless you own it. Well, that was a great way to end the formal part of the evening. As you know, there will be an open mic after the break. Hands up who we've got again for the open mic. Yes, 1, 2, me. And yes, I knew you'd do it, and you too. Well, we've got quite a few people. I'm not sure how long everybody will be allowed to have. 5 minutes? And but we will see. And anyway, before you go, I want to talk about this. This is Poetry Sydney's next event, Embrace Equity for International Women's Day. If you enjoyed this event, you will enjoy that one too. It's at Sheffer Gallery on the 8th of March, unsurprisingly. And it features Miro Bilbra, who's a poet, but she also wrote an amazing memoir, which we've all just read in my book club, in the time of the Manarowans, about her very dishevelled upbringing in a hippie commune in New Zealand in the 70s. I've met Miro, and surprisingly, she seems perfectly normal despite all of that. So, well worth going to see. Diane Morais, who is a Brazilian poet known for her sensual and erotic poetry. Michelle Seminara, who is a poet and editor of Verity La magazine. Sandy Edwards will be doing a photographic address about her work that focuses on women and Aboriginal communities. Maggie Walsh, an amazing poet from North Queensland, will wow you all. And Damien Minton presents Rosalind Sharp's works, The Messenger. So that's a big program for International Women's Day, and you can register at Sheffer Gallery. Now, that's it for the ads. Enjoy the break. Now, before you go, do you think I should change again or not? Actually, I don't have anything else that I can change into except my street clothes, which are boring, so I'm not going to do that. Or I might do a mashup. A mashup. Okay, I'll do a mashup for my next presentation. What? Oh, yours are boring too, Charles. But okay, well, while I'm doing that, we're going to have a break for 15 minutes, and you can go and get a drink and talk to each other, chat amongst yourselves. Do not leave, because we now have 5 poets for the open mic, and that will be amazing as well. Welcome back. Now we're up to the open mic section. A little bit of shush, please, because I am speaking. I'm the most important person. Do you like the new mashup look? There we go. There we go. Now I'm going to kick this off with a couple of my poems. Everybody else gets 1. I get 2 because I'm special. And not just that, these are both poems that I wrote about a very dear friend of mine who I travelled across Australia with about 10 years ago. And he died very suddenly, very recently. And we're all completely devastated about that. So Angela Stretch over there from Poetry Sydney has given me this indulgence so that I can remember Tim Tobish from LA. Dirty laundry. You've heard of the love that shouts its name from the rooftops, and the love that does not dare to speak its name except in Newtown or Balmain. Here's a new one I'll try to explain. The love that does not know its name. We look related, he and I, with the same colour hair and the same colour eyes. I'm a little taller, he's a little younger. It balances out. We bicker like noisy miners in my jacaranda tree, and between us drain dry the vineyards of 4 states. He drives on the wrong side of the road and neglects the handbrakes. He thinks I am too cautious. I know he is too careless. We split the costs. We take separate rooms. Years ago, when I first went travelling with another man, they would raise their eyebrows because we shared a room. Now they raise them because we don't. Their eloquent eyebrows ask questions we ignore. What's wrong with you? Are you not speaking? Is this the makeup trip that's not working? Are you married to other people? I am. Do you think if you ask for separate rooms we're fooled? We know what you're really up to. For 10 days we travel across the vast yawning wilderness of sullen, sodden southern coasts and endless southern sunless forests. I really wish I hadn't written that line. Look, there's a koala. Do we really need to see all 3 caves? Seeking no other company but each other's, we are never bored. I never wash anyone's clothes but mine. But on the road he washes mine moist with leaky female fluids, along with his without a qualm. I take his dirty laundry and sort it, chide him gently for his holy undies, real passion killers, he'll never get lucky with those, and make sure his grubby socks turn snowy white. Our dirty little secret stays unwanted, unwashed at the bottom of the laundry basket. He's a fag. I'm his hag. I hate those words. They sound so 50s, so closeted, so out of date, so not who we are. I don't want to share you, he says. If a straight guy said that, it would be romantic. Cue violins and heavy breathing, but he says it and we're both confused. You're not my mother, sulking like a petulant 3-year-old. He's right. I don't need any more children. I'm on the road to escape mine. We share little snippets of love. Babe, doll, dude, mate, sweetie, honey. Finally, we work it out. Heart's brother, soul sister, we wash our human stains away, so our love is pure as angels. Now, the next one is called saudade, which is a Portuguese word for yearning for something you've lost, never had, or will never have. And it's being published in Shooting the Breeze by Girls on Key. Standing knee-deep in the harbour pool on my side of the ocean, thinking of you standing on your side, on the end of Venice Beach Pier, waving to each other, even though only the seagulls can see us. It's the salt spray makes my eyes water, not the thought of that impossible distance between us. There's always an airport, there's always goodbye. We think of ways to meet again. How about catching up in New York, watching the sunrise above Angkor Wat, drinking Tempranillo in Buenos Aires, bag ourselves a Yeti in Kathmandu? I guess we could do all those things. We know we travel well together, except that those places aren't home. We have opened the doors of our houses. We have opened the doors of our hearts. My home is filled with people, but it's empty of you. How dare you have a good time without me? I leave only my footprints as I walk this southern beach tonight beneath this month's full moon. The last time I left you on your side of the world, the moon was full. I imagine you watching the same moon tonight while you stand on the northern side of our ocean. The Samoans say the trail of moonlight on water is the pathway to the gods. Only the soul is free enough to walk it. For me, that moonlit path leads me nowhere but to you, and my soul longs to be home. I forget the time difference while I'm here on this forlorn beach. The sun shines where you are, leaving no shadows for me to lurk in your day. You're awake right now like me. Are you thinking of me as I think of you? We say goodbye as often as we greet each other. Each goodbye a fresh wound, invisible lacerations that tear me apart all over again. The exquisite pain of those fine cuts belongs to me. It helps me remember you. We say goodbye. We say goodbye. We say goodbye. We say hello. Well, that's enough of me. Thank you very much. I hope you like those. Our first open mic poet is Warwick. Please give Warwick a big hand.
Thank you. So I'll start this off with I'm not a poet. I'm more a performance artist. So let's go from there. I wake up in dreams of an understanding nature. Where did I grow up? Where am I going? Do I see and did I understand? 13, the Oxford, Taylor Square. Life, moving forward. No shirt. Then I suddenly see, where am I going? Who do I see? Jarmanesque dreams of delusion and delight. Physical boys, sweat, light. I wonder, who am I? Where am I going? Who do I see? And then I suddenly understand there's a body, an arching naked man in front of me. And I wonder who and where. And then zing! Back of the bicycle shed. High school. What is this? Sweat, life, nature. Everyone staring, confronted, revealed, unseen. I don't know. I want to know where I am, but everyone's saying, who are you? What are you? Where do you go? I suddenly go there. Cowabunga. Teenage turtle dreams. I see a life. Michelangelo, where are you? And then I slide. I light a candle at 14, walking along Oxford Street, remembering the ones that I'd met the year before, gone, lost. The virus took them. I'm 13, 14, 15. Where am I? I don't know. I try and cry tears, glycerine, blue, turquoise. I scream inside and I do not know who I am and where I am going. But what I know is who I am. I grew up. I was around people, unknown. But then they became famous. And then I breathe. I breathe and I try and suck in the air. I try and live this life. And I look and I see and I try and define. And then I realize definition is a joke. I was looking for who I am and what I am and where am I going. And then I laugh and I cry and I scream these yells. And I see Blondie, I see Debbie, I see everything. Andy was saying, build a UFO. Where's D'Alessandro when I need him? And then I laugh and I scream and I cry and I look. Do I know you? Are you familiar? Did we dance last night or last week or next year? And then I look at the candle again. I think of all I've lost and all I have gained. I find a message in the depth, the murmurings, the sound of the sea. And I look and I listen and I grow. And when I grow, I see you. And who is you? Is that me? Am I a doppelganger fucking myself in the dreams of my destiny? I have no idea. But who knows? But then I smell the leather, the sperm, the sweat, the salt. Breathe. When we find who we are, where we're going, it's a journey. And when we get there, we all breathe. Thank you.
Well, Warwick, I hate to break it to you, but you are indeed a poet. Okay, our next poet is Margot. Where's Margot? Margot is right here. Ah, she's the hot one. Okay, come on, give her a big hand.
This one is called Return of Company Property. The smell of my mother is not the same as the smell of my father, nor my own. My pillow should comfort. It shouldn't blame that the odor on it is mine alone. Show me your pus, your piss, your sebum and sweat. Have I sullied you enough? I don't know. Let me taste again, lest I soon forget the semen, saliva, spirit, and soul. I sipped the chalice of your intellect. I ate all the crispy flakes of your wit. I suckled the nectar of your respect, and your sweet compassion I simply bit. Your fire hides under the sugar glaze, only contained like an egg's brittle shell. Let me pierce it and see the yellow blaze oozing out from the embryonic well. The steaming smell of you I couldn't find when I tried to conjure it in my mind.
Oh, your ears burning from that poem. Mine are. We got a lot of visceral poems tonight. I like it. Okay, our next poet is Ella, who I know who she is because I said hello earlier. Come on up, Ella. Make her welcome.
Is this okay? Hi. So this is a poem I wrote called Molehill. And I think as queer people, we get a lot of kind of like, just let it go, you know, it's not that big of a deal, just, you know, don't make a fuss. And then I think a lot of us, perhaps all of us, hit a point where we kind of go, fuck that. And I think that's a really important moment that we often learn from other people how to take that moment. So this is Molehill. You asked me, are you sure this is the hill you want to die on? Just turn the other cheek and let it slide. But I thought of all the stones that had been thrown across the years, retraced their lacerations on my skin. I let those slide as well, let them roll away unchallenged. They all piled up together until they made a mountain. It towered and it trembled until the day it crumbled and buried me alive beneath its weight. A flower came and pulled me from the rubble, and she told me, until you choose the spot to drop your roots and grow, they will bury you again and again. So this is my spot, the place I choose to sink my taproot down into the earth. This is the hill I grow on, and I won't move for you or them or anyone alive. I will make this hill an Eden where other little flowers come to grow.
Thank you, Margot. That was great. Our next poet is Tim. Yes, Tim, who was the shy one a bit earlier, has now got his courage, so make him welcome.
Hi, everyone. I've never done something like this before, so thank you for listening. This is a little thing I wrote called Generation Wallflower. I guess it's just my experience of my generation. So, kick the color out my future's face, 'cause my lover crushed my petals. Now everything that I don't say will form my precious metals, and I'll build something abstract for the ones who crave mystery. I'm just trying to keep your interest in a blue screen history. Quiet don't mean shy. I need to toughen up and let you finish that thought in your mind. This is Generation Wallflower, won't tell you how we feel, just comparing our childhood traumas, our melodrama zeal. It's no wonder I don't ever seem to heal. For my backdrop, what do you see? Go by the kicks in your veins. Last time I told you what I really thought, it just blew up in flames. Overwhelmed by second nature, my job smeared out our whys. Let's unlearn something forgotten, restore the color in our skies. Quiet don't mean shy, just hoping that you'd write something new on my mind. This is Generation Wallflower, trying to keep surreal. Yellow Roses Nirvana, Jesus please stay near. Live life as it comes and not by what I fear. That's it. Yeah. Thank you.
Can someone pass me my ginger beer? Thank you, Tim. Live life as it comes is good advice for us all. As for my ginger beer, I've been on antibiotics for 2 weeks. I literally got off my sick bed or my sick rocker recliner at home and to come here today. And I discovered the hard way this afternoon that wine does not go with antibiotics. So I'm back. So anyway, that's just another little aside by me. Our next poet, I haven't forgotten you. I haven't forgotten. I remember it's all up here. Is Jara or possibly Farah? Well, I couldn't read the writing terribly well. What's your name?
My name's Jara.
Jara. There we go. Make her welcome. Thank you.
Spider woman folding her heart around the famous images in still water mirrors. She fell for it, the beauty in the lines of the body that repeats a song of sex. Fall in love, fall entrapped. Her eyes stare in the blacks of yours. No wisdom is within the legs that cascade around your tingling arms, enthralled. The web sees the design, a trap house with a tragic bite. You lie in your own shit, mine goes a million miles while you wither. Find a path and please her and leave like life needs you to become. A master of focus on the water that stares back at you. And only you. Leave her, but fall in love when the incision brings you above. Peel back her layers and she'll be kind. Give prayers, wires behind the eyes, and spirit is for you to know. But never unfold. Hold it in your hands like gold, like dusk. I'll make you old, so I'm told, and know when to step back and take hold, I'm sold. Feel me and wake from the coal, lanky legs make languages of their own. Befriend the unfolding of the heart and let's go. Need the space to remember your fate if you stay. Wank over her and you will make her your lover from afar. Telepathic serendipity that science refuses to comprehend. It is the conduit for your welcome seat back into her open body and single-pointed mind, addicted to the very thing that follows her around like a dog.
Thank you, Jara. That was very intense. And that's a good thing because poets really need to be intense because otherwise, what are we, just commentators? I don't know. Anyway, our next poet is Trent. Trent, where are you? Ah, there is Trent. Come on up, make him welcome.
Hey guys, just going to take that off. So, I've never done this before, but this is just, just hold it a bit closer. Okay, that's good. Okay. Look, this is just stuff on my phone that, never thought I'd say out loud, to be honest. Okay, well, this one's about anxiety. Every 10 minutes, I check if you're online, just to know if you're awake. Active 2 hours ago, active 3 hours ago. I love a good horror story, but this ghost is too much for my anxiety merry-go-round because all the seats are taken. There's a part of me that wishes I died early in the story. That way I wouldn't have to bear the trepidation in every chapter. My soul would leak out of this physical body and float around as a spirit. I wonder if that would help my anxiety. There'd be no reason to hyperventilate, but I would still fear death. The warmth leaving the bodies of those who once kept me floating. A little warning is all I ever wanted, just a heads up that you're leaving. Every 10 minutes, I'd still check if you're there, just to know that if that happens again, someone will hear me scream. Maybe I'll survive, but if you're not there, my internal alarm sirens, and I'll grow strong to find you. And I'll lose who I was because keeping you around keeps me alive. Okay, this one is about group therapy. Sometimes I think, why am I here, sitting in this chair? For years, I've been listening to my life is a disaster. Jails, institutions, death. I've been hurled up on the beach from the storm, and I know I'm really lucky, but I'm still wandering in the depths some days. The floor is not as hot anymore. The flames have died down to a flickering slow dance. The dust has settled and has been swept into neat little piles with signposts in case I forget where the chaos lies inside my body. Why am I here, sitting in this body? It's not so bad anymore. I'm not in physical pain. I'm not shaking. I'm not collapsing in terror. I'm not an outcast anymore. I'm not wishing that I was happy or dumb or dead. So why? I still carry constant uncertainty. I guess that I can close my eyes and pretend I'm still really lucky to be in this chair tonight. I'm still really lucky to have a life that I don't want to lose.
Pretty good for a newbie. I hope you keep it up, Trent. And he did press the friendship a little bit, but the second poem was very short. So I was indulgent to a newbie. Don't think that the rest of you can get away with this stuff. Unless you're super good. And Mari is our very last open mic poet. And I'm sure they will be super good. Who is Mari? Woo!
Hi guys, I'm your bartender for tonight. Hope you're having a good one. This one's called Some Days. I'm actually a lyricist myself, so my poetry is a little bit unorthodox because, yeah, I'm a musician. So, yeah. So this is called Some Days. Some days when I'm awfully lonely, I think of the days so soft that you'd hold me. It was beyond a pedestal, and some would call it unholy. It was worship to the devil, and in this wreck, you'd console me. A bitter burnt rhyme, it was infectious for its time, and not a moment that was spared. The intuition was divine. A love of self-care in the 622, melodies and memories, my mind escapes to you. And some days, when I'm awfully lonely, I'd think of the days so soft that you'd hold me. And some days, a minute changes my mind. A simple love for digits, never wasting what is mine. The notes that you had written was a message from your mind. And the smoke that had you glisten, had you fallen off behind. Some days, it's evident my element was built on never settling and never second guessing in a romance that had never been the truest form of medicine, because the sweetest kisses let me in and the demons feed adrenaline. So some days when I'm awfully lonely, I think of the days so soft that you'd hold me.
Mari, what a super talented woman you are. Bar, music, poetry, geez, full package, good looking, everything. I know it's not all that PC to talk about people's looks, but everybody here is good looking, so it's okay. It's okay. We're not being lookist. We're just appreciative of human beauty. Now, this brings us to the end of the evening. I want to thank Angela Stretch of Poetry Sydney for organising this event. And I recommend that you all follow Poetry Sydney on Instagram or Facebook, because then you will find out about all of Poetry Sydney's many unique and exciting events that happen all the time. And don't forget the next one, Embrace Equity, Sheffer Gallery, 8th of March. If you check the Facebook or the Instagram, you'll have all the details. It'll all be fine. I already discussed that. I want to thank Richard Wilkinson for that gorgeous image of INNIE and OUTIE. He's from something called Impossible Numbers, and Brian over there will tell you that no numbers are impossible, but some of them may be imaginary. It's all a bit too much for me. I want to thank all of our feature poets for this evening. To refresh your memory, they are Tricia Dearborn, Melody Grafton, Paris Rosemont in the stiletto boots extraordinaire, Willow Drummond right here in the feather bolero, Kari McKern, who I think has left us, but gone but not forgotten, Charles Freiberg. And I'm your host for this evening. My name is Lou Steer, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram as well. Okay. See you later. Have a wonderful evening. Oh, and don't forget the various books over there with Angela. Just go and rummage and buy something, for God's sake. Help a poet out.